guys, welcome to your collective energy reading. If you found yourself here, chances are there is a jewel in here for you. Now, I've already done my prayer. I've gotten into all of the energies, and what I heard was accessing the new world. We all know that there's been so much chatter, theology, conversation around the new earth and what that means. That's sort of what we're going to get into here, because it's here. We're in 2022, if you haven't noticed already, and a lot of us are really struggling in our ascension processes and our awakening. If you found yourself here, chances are you're already in the midst of your awakening, if you're not already knee-deep in it so far. And with this comes dark nights of the soul, with this comes struggle, with this comes expansion, with this comes growing pains. It comes with a lot, and sometimes it can be really confusing. So whatever support I can offer, I'm happy to do so. And if you're interested in an in-depth reading one-on-one, that information is in the description box. I also primarily do work in soul fragment retrieval and entity extraction. And if that interests you, again, contact me. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, because this energy is something that I've sort of been downloading for a while, and it also goes hand in hand with heaven and hell, our existence, our vibration, where in the gambit of dimensionality, do we live in? Where do we rely? Where do we nest? And what are we working towards? Some people live in a perpetual hell and some people don't. Some people live in a heaven and some people live in somewhere in the in-between, and they hop between. Okay, this has a lot to do with it, right? The new world really is heaven on earth, and it's really us anchoring it. So it's an extra step is what I got. I'm going to channel more through the cards, but I'm just going to kind of share what I have so far. It's this grid, right? If you think about the world as we know it, right? We all collectively agreed. We created a grid where we agreed that it might be possible for a hunk of metal to fly through the sky, hence the airplane. Then it can happen, right? There are millions of us waking up and anchoring in a new way of living, a new system, new systems, period. When we are faced with situations where we're made very clear of what we do not want, we set out, like in the words of Abraham Hicks, we set out rockets of desire to allow our higher selves, our highest intelligence, to understand what we do not want. And when we are enjoying and appreciative and grateful in frequency, we also send out rockets of desire about what it is that we do want. And now a lot of us doing this at the same time is going to set a grid. So this new world thing, this movement, it is very much so real. However, there are some traps, right? And a lot of it has to do with sides. Which side do you have to subscribe to in order for you to have access to this world? It's not about sides, okay? But I'm gonna leave it there. That's pretty much what I have channeled so far, and we're gonna get into the reading. So what's funny is the first two cards that came out were the World card and the Six of Cups. Okay, the World card being a major arcana, and the six in numerology representing breaking out of one cycle and moving on to the next. We notice that the base of the six is a circle. It's a circle, and then it moves outwards, right? It's circling, and then an ascension or a movement outwards, an escape of that circle. So this is sort of like Spirit's telling me a blueprint for you to understand how to bring yourself into this new world frequency, and which is beautiful. Hello, welcome 2022. I'm here for it. Okay. Guides, angels, ancestors, what ancestors of light and love that only want the best for me, ascended masters, and extraterrestrials or galactic support. What other of love? What other information do we have here? Archangel Michael, please protect against any distorting energies and or intentions. Yeah, a lot of it is about letting go. In the past, we've struggled, and I channeled this. If you guys follow me on Instagram, Maverick Mystic, I have channeled this message about shame in reference to something that we're wanting to let go. This is an individual, person by person thing. The shame that we experience when we fail to let things go, or, you know, say you're struggling with an addiction and you're struggling to let that go. You're struggling to come to terms with it, period. And you're struggling to let it go. You've made attempts to let it go and you can't, or not that you can't, or you've relapsed, or you've reneged, or you found yourself failing, in your words, not Spirit's, failing at that. What Spirit wants to really communicate here through that is there is an opportunity here for us to realize that we're not alone. There's so many of us that have struggled with this. The good thing about this is the energies that we're coming into, the planetary alignments and transits and whatnot, are as such that they would promote and help and support the release of these things. So a lot of us are going to be experiencing many tower moments to help us sort of get there. So a little bit more intense in the realm of change, meaning things are just going to sort of fall away. And it's not going to be a pretty process. It's not going to be fun. However, we are going to be given the opportunity of support in reference to releasing these things. Now, in the past, you may have felt this difficulty, and Spirit just wants to highlight and say, if you're willing to try again, you will find more support. You will find it easier for you to accomplish this if you're willing to. If not, it's eventually going to come around karmically and sort of be removed in a way that is a little more chaotic, so to speak, right? What's holding up space? What is taking up space? What cannot go to the new world with you? And in this, it's a trade. I just heard a masterful trade. There's a trade happening here where you're offering away something, you're giving something up, and almost immediately you're given something. You're given a gift, okay? The Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, you know, realizing there's something that cannot go with you to the new world. And the Page of Pentacles in the upright position. You looking at your... This is something of an opportunity. For many of you guys, this is going to be like a new path, a new business, a new skill that is going to bring you into a new field. But there's something that is being brought in that is sort of acting as fuel to help you move through this and continue to release. So many of you are in good positioning is what I'm hearing as well. So congratulations, even if you don't feel it, right? Also this old... the old programs, right? What you're meaning to let go could even be belief systems, but the old program that has been running has been one of inconsistency. So those that I'm tapping into, you struggled with abandonment. So inconsistency in your relationships, right? Seeking unconditional love from others and feeling an inconsistency, whether it is that they completely remove themselves from your experience, even from as early as childhood, right, with the parent. Or it's you not allowing yourself to fully see the fruits of your labor being bared. You're planting seeds, you're putting in the work, and then you are losing faith and walking away. A long-standing pattern. So this is really between you, yourself, and God. What long-standing pattern of inconsistency has been haunting you or has been present in your experience? You're going to realize with this Sun card exactly what that is and why. That's beautiful. It's gonna, Spirit is telling me for a lot of you, it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow because you may have spun stories that framed you in a different light. However, your inner truth is speaking to you a story that is different from one in which you've parroted. And it all has to do with where you've been chained, limited, the Devil card, represented by Capricorn energy. All of these things that I've mentioned so far, the things that you know can no longer exist, habits, belief systems, whatever it may be, relationships that you know cannot go with you into this new era. You feel it, you know it. You can feel its effect on you. Those things and existing in that struggle has caused us to be connected to and attached to unhealthy, toxic ways in which to receive worth, right? So, for example, say if you're struggling with an addiction and you're trying to get better, you might put your worth in your sponsor, right? Your support system, right? Say you've gone through abandonment. You might put your worth in your partner, and everything that you receive in worth, your capacity of worth is contingent upon their ability to offer it to you. So all of these things are in question. And where are you limiting yourself? I'm hearing cords, where you have cords connected to people. And where you have also enabled those that you love to take a similar path as you. I heard misery loves company. These are tough pills to swallow. Again, you guys are in great shape, so don't feel like because this is coming up that you're in a negative place. This is all for learning with the Hierophant energy. This is all for your own learning. And this is, I just heard karmic blueprint, karmic agreement. What is waiting for us in the new world? I heard it's already here. What is waiting for us? What is possible for us in entering the new world? Legacy. And they're also, with the Three of Wands in the reverse, Spirit is also communicating to me how important it is for us to release expectation. You may have an idea of what this new world has to offer, but that does not support flexibility. That does not support flexibility. What is being asked is that we trust that what is coming is of our desire and not have any mental image or thought or perception of what that's going to be. Can I get some clarification? Yeah, a lot of you guys, I'm sure in the tarot community or in the psychic community, we've heard the term, your cup is empty. You need to refill your cup, right? Well, sometimes our cup is full. It's full of bullshit, and it's full of shit that we don't need, full of shit that does not serve us, okay? With the Ace of Cups in the reverse, this is Spirit sort of like, I'm getting the energy of wiping the slate clean, right? Releasing from your heart any resentments, anything that weighs you down emotionally, any toxic emotional, I'm hearing emotional toxins. I've never heard that one before. Release the emotional toxins, okay? And with the Ten of Swords in the reverse position, this is exactly, it's echoing the sentiment I just mentioned. And then the Ten of Pentacles, legacy. This is lifelong, long-term legacy, being put on a track where you know where you're going and what is going to be at the end of this path or throughout this path is going to continue to bear your legacy, is going to be a long-term, very important path. And feeling a sense of community, right? So many of us, even in the spiritual community, we reach out to each other, but we aren't, very rarely, very seldomly do we actually share vulnerability about what it is that we're feeling or going through. I mean, on the other end, sometimes there's oversharing, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you may be communicating and having in-depth conversations with other spiritual individuals, but are you truly communicating the prominent and dominant thoughts in your experience, or are you faking it to make it, which works? Faking it to make it can work. It can kind of push you into a frequency, and then the frequency becomes real. However, if we were to share, hey, listen, I'm feeling like an imposter. I'm really starting to question whether or not I've done the work. I'm struggling with this thing and these frequencies, and I'm feeling like I need to go this way, and I'm a little bit lost, right? Do you have somebody you can have those conversations with? Really, they're telling me this has less to do with people and more to do with spirit. A lot of you sometimes feel like you know what you need to do, or you know what you're being asked to do, but you do other things. You may be drawn to a relationship that spirit is telling you is done. You break up, you go back, right? There's this spirit is telling me it's a program. It's a program that is running that makes you feel like when you are going against the advice and the wisdom of the divine, that you are unworthy. This is a dogmatic program, a program that comes from religion, comes from just really religion is really what I'm getting. Religion, dogma, this feeling of a punishing God, a God that demands that you follow its orders. When you will find that even when you're being offered advice and guidance through your intuition, or even through a reading, whatever, and you don't go that way, it's your choice. You're in free will. It doesn't mean that your team has abandoned you. In fact, it probably is more of an indication that you should continue to tune in more. There are times where my guides offer me advice and direction, and I don't take it, right? I struggle with this too. Are they upset? They're not like us. They are and they're not, in the sense that they're not weighed down by the distortion of it all. They understand unconditional love, and they live in that frequency so unshakably that they don't lose love for us when we do things differently. This is really going to solidify this year for us. This notion, this unequivocal truth of unconditional love. For a lot of you, it's with this Five of Swords in the reverse position. I don't know if I showed you this card, but the Five of Pentacles in the reverse is what I'm talking about when it comes to really not feeling like an outsider anymore, having support, really feeling grounded in your connection to the divine, to your connection to other people that embody that as well. But I see here with the Five of Swords in the upright position that there's going to be a lot of situations where you have to be very selective about what it is that you're sharing, especially to those that are really tuned into the matrix. The matrix being the belief system that has been operating this reality for a long time, right? For example, the jab. Say you agree with it, don't agree with it. It's none of my business, honestly, and it's none of your business what I've chosen. But say you have chosen not to, right? You sharing that or being open about your beliefs or your thoughts about that around certain people might open you up for unnecessary conflict and a battle of ego is what I just heard, where you know that you're right, trying to convince somebody else that you're right. They know that they're right. They're trying to convince you that they're right. It's just draining. That's just a small example, not really small, but that's just an example of what it is that you might be experiencing in that respect. It's not just that. It's, you may feel like a family gathering you might feel in your intuition that it's just not going to be good for you and where you are right now. So you choose not to go, right? Rather than communicating, hey, my intuition is telling me not to go, you know that is going to spark some kind of taxing conversation or whatever with the person, you know that they're not going to understand that. So you have to hold that close to the vest and just, just say, I just can't make it. You know what I mean? There's a basically being tactful about what it is that you're sharing with who. Because you understand that some people are really tuned in, and it's not that you can't exist in the same spaces with people that share different ideologies. It's that people that are tuned into the matrix and have different kinds of attachments or are low in vibration, like attracts like, they're going to want to convert you, whether they're conscious of it or not, to where they're standing or where they are vibrationally. They're going to want you to kind of match up to that, and vice versa. When in doubt, in the future, moving forward, when you're really wanting to communicate something, or you're yearning for something when it comes to relationships and connections, the authentic, open-hearted approach is going to reap so much more rewards than it has in the past. People are going to be a little bit more open. I heard to gestures, to grandiose gestures. People are going to be more likely to propose. This is going to be a big year of proposals. This is not even supposed to be a year reading. This is accessing the new world. What is the biggest obstacle in accessing the new world, Spirit? They said this year is imperative to the new world. 1 year down, 6 to go is what I just heard of a lot of this craziness. What is integration, right? So a lot of you guys are going to be initiated through shadow work, right? Some of the major aspects of our soul that allow us to navigate ascension are our inner child, our divine masculine, our divine feminine, our shadow, and our light, right? And there are other aspects as well, but those are the most important, right? So a lot of you guys, it's your feminines that are really being, that are really coming through to help guide you through this process, your divine feminines, right? It's representative of the womb, of creation, of destruction, right? I don't know who this is coming to, but Spirit is saying there's somebody out here, and this is probably going to be the only individual message. There's a male out here who struggles with erectile dysfunction. They're saying there's a reason for this. This person that you are trying to sleep with, or the individuals that you're choosing, have some kind of attachments, and they want to kind of take some of your life force. Your higher self and your spirit is preventing you from that. It's kind of a perfect constellation of dysfunction, in the sense that the dysfunction is real. It's brought on by something that will be addressed, meaning you will have to solve this problem yourself. You will have to take the path of healing and bring your tool back into full functioning. However, and this is also to females, they're telling me this may not be one person. This could even be a female. Like if somebody is having issues getting hard, or becoming erect, or even having sex, getting turned on, whatever. Spirit is saying, look at that person, look at the energy around you guys, like really tune into what is happening, and you will understand that it is divine intervention at its best. Preventing from pregnancies, unwanted pregnancies, or the possibility of such. Spirit is telling me there's going to be a whole lot of erectile dysfunction this year. And they're saying that as a joke. It's not just erectile dysfunction. Just a lot of lessons, very permeate, like in-your-face lessons coming through around sex and intimacy, sexual partners, kinks. Turning everyone's sex lives upside down. Not being able to get off. not being able to continue these patterns, seeking a deeper relationship with your intimate bodies, past the physical. And here goes the erection. The true erection. Okay, false erection and real erection. I gotta write that down. That's a download that I can't communicate yet, but it just came in, so I gotta let it integrate, and then I'll share it with you guys. Alrighty. What other information do you want to communicate to us about accessing the new world? A lot of us are going to be made clear about our past, put into perspective of truth, away from distortion, might yield some unsavory realizations about the past. Maybe even our past lives. I'm seeing somebody going into their past lives, and like the story that they thought about themselves spiritually is completely different than what is coming into truth. I would very much be okay. So they're saying there's no need to rush. Like there's no like missing the boat here. It's not that there's no missing the boat here. There is some sort of missing the boat for some. But if you're watching this video, chances are you're not, right? But when it comes to like the new world and being able to make it within this incarnation to really help grid the new world, and all the ways in which the way we live changes, the way we use money, the way we support ourselves, how much things cost, the infrastructures, things that help us live and how we relate to each other. So much of that is going to change. And that and before that changes, we change. Right? So I say that to say there are some people who have been given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to get true, real, and really transition through this frequency, transition with the planet, and they are not. But you are not one of those people, is what I'm hearing. People that are here, if you're worried about that, chances are it's not for you to worry about. And I just had that conversation with a friend. So it's kind of cool that it's coming through again for you guys. There are going to be some triggering experiences in going inwards. It's going to be a lot of going inwards. It's going to be a lot of force going inwards. A lot of people, there's going to be more lockdowns. But there's going to be this energy of you going inwards and realizing or coming across something that kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth or makes you feel like you don't want to do it anymore. You don't want to do this work anymore, right? And rushing into something else, rushing into something else to distract you or to occupy you, falling back into old ways because you don't want to do this anymore. Spirit is saying it's going to feel uncomfortable until it starts to feel right. So we have to be willing to face what's within us rather than numbing it. It's still there, right? If you sprain your ankle and you take painkillers, you may be able to walk on it and not feel a thing, but it is still sprained. And the Hermit in the reverse with the Justice card. The Hermit representing Virgo energy. Justice representing Libra. Ow. Wow. So a lot of you guys are going to be owls. If owls are coming up for you a lot, that's a spiritual sign. Look into that. They just told me that. There's this energy of like what is done in the darkness being brought to the light. In your life, in the mass scale, in reference to like politics and the world stage, there is just this frequency, this energy of exposure and disclosure that is going to be brought forth. And there's this need for discernment, which all of this inner work allows us to really be able to attune to what's happening and really be able to discern where the deception is. And there's going to be a lot of deception being, brought to us through the collective, through the news, through the media, through Big Brother, whatever you want to call it. It's a lot of deception. But even within your life and your lives, right? Any sort of manipulation on a minor or mass scale is going to be exposed in the moment or almost instantly, right? It's not going to be an easy ride, but Spirit is saying it's here. The doorway is here. The path is here. You can make the voyage. This new world is accessible, right? Accessing the new world, it's accessible. However, we're in a bridge period right now. And part of that is walking this path, right? As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, for me, this is the most indicative time of that prayer, of that scripture. Up is down, down is up. What is real? What is false? This is going to be an internal struggle. Now, the biggest thing Spirit is saying is like, the only thing that's going to rock you away is you turning off and moving out of this process due to discomfort. Do not, I repeat, do not turn away from this. As uncomfortable as it is, we guarantee that the rewards will be so worth it. They will. But we need to follow that through. We need to believe that. We need to feel that. We need to own it. And we need to be able to navigate this experience moving forward, eyes fully open. No longer leaning on our previous crutches, taking advantage of the energy that's here to support us in transforming, because it is here, and it is here in droves. There's so much of it. Between the sun and the collective frequencies and the galactic support that we're receiving, the angelic support that we're receiving, there is so much potential here for you, for all of us. And it all comes down to worthiness. Do you believe yourself to be worthy? Do you trust yourself to be worthy of this? It's the doubt and the shame that causes us to opt out of this experience, that causes us to remain stagnant in our old patterns. And I leave you with this question. Do you want to access the new world? Or are you ready to access the new world? Or do you believe yourself worthy of the new world? I don't have an answer to these questions for you. They're your questions, but these questions are going to get you closer. They're asking these questions yourself and tuning into the answers will get you a little closer to the frequency I'm sitting in. And with that being said, God bless you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. And till next time.